Welcome to Hollywood Bulletin, where today we uncover the shocking truth behind the stars who didn't show up to Frank Sinatra's funeral. A moment that left fans and insiders stunned. Frank Sinatra, with his piercing blue eyes and silk smooth voice, was more than just a singer. He was a cultural icon. A man who defined cool, power, and charm for generations. From smoky Vegas lounges to glittering Hollywood parties, Sinatra was always in the spotlight, always surrounded by the most influential names of the era. But when old Blue Eyes passed away in 1998, the expected sea of celebrities didn't appear at his funeral. No flashbulbs, no red carpets, only silence. And that silence spoke volumes. Marlon Brando, one of the greatest actors of all time, was notably missing, and the story behind it goes deep. Brando and Sinatra's relationship was anything but smooth. In fact, Brando once believed Sinatra was behind an incident where he was ambushed by three men at a rest stop, threatened with death or worse, and then let go without a word. That paranoia, according to his close friend Carlo Fiore, came from years of mistrust between the two Hollywood titans. Their tension began back in 1955 during the filming of Guys and Dolls, a musical comedy that brought the two together in front of the camera, but tore them apart behind it. Sinatra, wanting the lead role of Sky Masterson, was furious when the studio gave it to Brando instead. Adding insult to injury, Brando had no musical background, yet was cast in a role made for a singer. Sinatra took it personally and called Brando Mumbles, mocking his soft-spoken style. And method acting, Brando got his revenge in a scene that required Sinatra to eat cheesecake. Knowing Frank hated it, Brando kept ruining takes until Sinatra had eaten so much he got sick and stormed off. Their rivalry grew toxic. They barely spoke, and their scenes together were minimal. Still, the film was a success, and Sinatra had the last word years later when he recorded Luck Be a Lady, a song Brando had sung in the film. Sinatra's version became iconic. Brando never responded publicly, and decades later, when Sinatra died, Brando stayed away, perhaps still carrying the scars of their old feud. Then there was Nancy Reagan, a close friend of Sinatra's whose relationship with him raised many eyebrows over the years. She and Frank were never romantically linked, but their friendship was filled with warmth, charm, and a hint of mystery. Sinatra supported Ronald Reagan's political career from day one, campaigning, fundraising, and charming audiences for the Reagans. Nancy and Frank often shared private dinners, long calls, and subtle moments of connection that didn't go unnoticed. Rumors exploded in 1991 when Kitty Kelly released a biography suggesting they were more than just friends. The White House never commented, and both Frank and Nancy stayed silent. But when Sinatra passed away, Nancy Reagan didn't attend the funeral, claiming a scheduling conflict. The absence left many wondering if the bond had quietly frayed, or if it was too personal to face. Woody Allen, too, was nowhere to be seen at Sinatra's burial, and his reason was deeply tied to Frank's fierce loyalty to those he loved, specifically Mia Farrow, Sinatra's former wife and lifelong friend. When Mia's relationship with Woody Allen imploded in the early 1990s, after she discovered his secret affair with her adopted daughter Soon Yi, she turned to Sinatra, heartbroken and betrayed. The scandal grew even darker with allegations that Allen had abused another adopted child. Dylan Farrow, Sinatra was livid, fiercely protective of Mia, and reportedly tried to use his connections to the mafia to have Allen eliminated. The mafia refused, fearing too much heat from targeting a high-profile figure like Allen, but Sinatra's rage was real, and Allen's absence at the funeral wasn't a surprise to anyone who knew the story. Then there was Barbara Streisand, the legendary voice who had recorded the unforgettable duet, I've Got a Crush on You with Sinatra in 1993. Despite their successful collaboration and mutual respect, Streisand didn't appear at the funeral either. Her absence stirred speculation, especially since their duet was so iconic, with her sweetly adding, "You make me blush, Francis," and Sinatra responding with, "I've got a crush, my Barbara, on you." But even that tender exchange wasn't enough to draw her to his final farewell. Sammy Davis Jr., one of Sinatra's closest companions. Wasn't there either, but for the saddest reason of all, he had passed away in 1990. Their friendship had started in 1941 when a teenage Sammy opened for Sinatra and grew into a powerful brotherhood, despite facing racism and constant mockery. On stage, Sammy remained loyal, and Sinatra stood by him when clubs and casinos tried to shut him out. Their bond endured through decades of highs and lows. Even as Sammy became a star in his own right, together with Dean Martin, they formed the core of the Rat Pack, thrilling audiences and reshaping entertainment. In the 1980s, Sinatra proposed a reunion tour, but Dean was already slowing down. After only a few shows, Dean left the tour, struggling with health issues and the demanding pace Sinatra wanted to keep. Liza Minnelli replaced him, but the magic wasn't the same. The final time all three performed together was in 1989 at Sammy's 60th birthday gala, a show that would later win an Emmy, their final bow together, and the last time the original Rat Pack shared a stage. Dean Martin's absence at Sinatra's funeral was also noted, but he had already passed away by then. Still, their friendship had become strained in later years. With Dean often tired of Sinatra's late-night drama and desire for chaos, Dean, ever the quieter family man, once even called the police on his own party just to get some sleep. He avoided public drama, even when fights broke out like the infamous 1966 Polo Lounge incident, where a man was assaulted during Dean's birthday party with Sinatra. Dean claimed he didn't see what happened, but told his daughter Sinatra had gone too far. These 6 names, Marlon Brando, Nancy Reagan, Woody Allen, Barbara Streisand, Sammy Davis Jr., and Dean Martin were all deeply tied to Sinatra in life. But all absent in death, their reasons varied, from old grudges to tragic timing. But their stories add layers of intrigue to the complex legacy of Frank Sinatra. Which of these shocked you the most? And which story did you find the most surprising? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Hollywood Bulletin, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the inside story behind the biggest legends in Hollywood history.